Hi.
Hi.
That's funny.
For those of you that may not know, I am DJ. This is Trisha.
I'm Bob.
And we are The Greatest Show. We used to be The Greatest Show online, but why limit ourselves, right?
I was worried about how my hair looked. Then I saw Bob. Not worried anymore.
Yeah, you got some funkadelic hair going on there, Bob. What's going on?
Well, I was asleep and I was like, well, I could totally fix this with like a brush, maybe some gel. But I thought that I would go with plan B. I went like this. And I was like, yeah, it looks good. We'll go with that. So,
Sweet.
yeah. Wow, I got some of that. I should totally drink one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bob. It's not your father's root beer, though.
It's not. I don't know what would happen if my dad said, hey, can I have one of those? I'd be like, crap.
Yeah.
It says right in the bottle that I can't allow that.
So for anyone that's wondering, the titles of the show recently have just been something random that I've thrown up. Past shows have actually had the word, the phrase contained within, but I'm putting a lot less effort into the podcast at this point. We may, at episode 100, launch an audio feed again and go from there.
Aren't we past episode 100 right now?
This is episode 67.
Wow.
Right?
We've been doing this for a long time.
We have. We've been doing this for, I think this is the third year. I'm pretty sure we started in 2013.
Wow. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
So I did have a lot of stuff to get done today, so I did skip out on Amp Guard. Which again, for anybody who misses that, we go out in a large field with foam weapons and we beat the crap out of each other, all medieval style. So we usually have a lot of fun with that, but I did kind of skip out on it today because I had stuff to get done around the house. So I ended up getting this in the mail. And so it goes to like 50 pounds. It's just a 50-pound scale.
It's like a luggage scale.
Yeah, exactly. So, and 50 pounds is a lot to pull on something like that.
Well,
So,
why do you have it?
well, we got this just for Amp Guard because not only do we hit each other with foam weapons and have fun with that, but we're also shooting at each other with real bows. And 35 pounds is the maximum draw weight of those bows. And some people make bows out of PVC and stuff like that. And you really don't have anything to go by other than, yeah, that feels about right. So now we got something that we can actually say, yes, this is the absolute maximum that you can go with that, stuff like that. So.
A torque wrench would probably work too, but that would be way more difficult to work with because with that you can clearly just hook it on and pull. So
Right.
Because I remember when I built engines and I'd have to torque head bolts and stuff, and it would go up to 85 foot-pounds of torque. So that was a lot.
Yeah. They started making us use a torque wrench the last job that I had because they were saying that some people weren't tightening things tight enough, others were tightening things too much. I have out there because I used to break the bolts all the time. I'd be working those and snap these big old bolts. So out there I've got a broken wrench where I was standing up there behind a machine, pulling on this, and the wrench snapped on me, and I went. I don't know how I kept my legs underneath me that whole time, but I somehow managed to stay on my feet. But I still have the broken wrench.
Did you have the nice clicky torque wrenches, or did you have the stupid ones with the little gauge at the bottom, like a scale.
Right. It was the clicky ones.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
Way better.
I married my mechanic, if you can't tell.
You don't know what a torque wrench is?
I know what it is.
Okay, well, hey, at least you're that far.
So it's I flubbed up last week for anyone that understood that we were going to have a show last week, and I'm here this week. So.
Oh, before I forget, I volunteered at a convention last weekend, and we completely missed it, but they had Amp Guard there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've kind of found it out after the fact when I was looking at the schedule, like because it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so I probably realized on Saturday that they had the demonstration on Friday.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. You've been like, oh, I know that. That's what Bob's always talking about obsessively, and I wish he'd stop. But there it is, right there.
Yeah, I do wish I could have gotten to it. It may have been while I volunteered though too, because it was called NewCon, and it was all anime and Doctor Who.
Wow.
Yes.
I've been binge watching Doctor Who again. I do that occasionally. I just start from the beginning and start watching through again. Not the classics. Sorry, man, but I just cannot get through the classics. But the whole newer four, I guess. Yeah. The newer four Doctors.
I could. What you really need, if you have a hard time sitting through all of the classics, is asking someone who enjoys both the new and the old, me, which stories would be good to follow that would help you appreciate what happened without having to drudge through the bad and the good.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
So, like, which Doctor have you watched, or which Doctors have you watched of the classics?
Oh, let me think here.
Have they been in color or black and white?
Well, the one was the old man.
William Hartnell. Wait, the color old man or the black and white old man?
Actually, yeah, there was two old men. You don't watch Supernatural, so I can't use. One of them looks kind of Ichabod Crane-ish, where he's got that really skinny face and big old hook nose, and the other one's got more like a Bilbo Baggins look to him.
We're gonna try something out here.
I thought those were very accurate descriptions of that. I mean, I could have, like, a police could have drawn me out a sketch of either one of them with what I just said.
All right.
Did any of them wear hats?
No, I know the one, the scarf one. I haven't seen the scarf guy yet. Yes, that was one of them.
Okay. If you were watching Doctor Who, he is not a good one to get a sense of Doctor Who because they really didn't know what they were doing until he left the show, and then they kind of started feeling stuff out. So, yeah, that's William Hartnell. He is the first Doctor. He is sort of an acquired taste, but he does have an excellent episode, and that would be the Time Meddler. No, Kitty. The Time Meddler. There's the Meddling Monk. Sorry, the Meddling Monk. No, it's the Time Meddler. Yeah, the Time Meddler. Okay, so there's this. He refers to him as one of his kind, but it's another time traveling individual. They don't identify him as Time Lords at that point, and he's mucking about time, and the Doctor fixes it. This is the other one you're talking about.
Yes,
that's John Pertwee.
Doesn't he kind of have that Bilbo Baggins look to him?
I guess so. He if you do you watch Gotham?
I don't. My plan was to get on Netflix and watch it, but for some reason, where I tried to watch it at didn't have like the first few episodes.
Well, John's son Sean is Alfred in Gotham.
Hmm.
And when you
no, I
see
don't
Sean
need to-
Pertwee, you'll be like, "Oh my God, he looks just like his dad." So John Pertwee he's the third Doctor. He's a very acquired taste. They consider him the James Bond of Doctor Who, so he's the least Doctor Who of Doctor Who.
Does he get all the women?
No, he does kung fu and missions and stuff. So
Who did take the women?
of his best episode is the Three Doctors, where the previous two joined him for an adventure, and then he's got a couple of other decent ones, but he's not the first one that I started with. And had I not seen the others, I don't know that I would have enjoyed Doctor Who if I'd have started with him. So it's kind of the same thing. The one I started with was the Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, the celery guy. If you know who I'm talking about.
I'm not sure.
He wears a cricket uniform and celery on his lapel.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's got of the Doctors, he's probably got my most favorite of the he's got the highest number of my favorite episodes because it's the first run that I saw. So I could recommend some of his. You'd have to dig for some of them, but you definitely want to watch the Five Doctors, which is him joined by the three guys from the Three Doctors, and then there's an issue with the fourth one. And the fourth one with the scarf, Tom Baker, he's got
my favorite.
He's got a lot of. He's got a lot of good stories, but there's not a lot of. Nothing that I would say you have to watch this one.
He has Canine.
He's got a robot dog, Canine.
Right. Canine shows up in the new series.
What are you doing now?
So then after Peter Davison, there's the Sixth Doctor. Not very many people like the Sixth Doctor. He's actually my favorite. The season-long story of Trial of a Time Lord, I believe, is his best work. So that would be all I could recommend to you with him. He's got a couple other decent ones that I personally like, but like I said, he's not very well liked. The seventh one, Sylvester McCoy, you would really have to watch very specific stories in order to
go away.
Like him. I have a hard time with him too, but I would definitely recommend Paradise Towers.
Paradise Towers.
And then you and I can talk about Kangs.
Oh God.
Ooh.
And
we can use the term ice hot.
Ice hot?
Fortunately, we'll talk about them whether you know what they are or not. Kill you.
Yes, and then we can build high for happiness.
Wow, that's like referring to the Mop and the Fez to people who aren't more of a modern Doctor Who fan.
Yeah. And then the only other Doctor that you haven't experienced would be the Eighth Doctor, and he's only got one televised story, so it's pretty. I do not recommend that one. That one that is the least Doctor Who episode of all Doctor Who episodes.
Okay.
It's rough. His audios are great, but that episode is rough. And then, of course, you've seen the new ones.
Yeah. And the new ones are like... I was surprised to find this out online, but the same thing that I've told people, like, over and over again, I've told people, apparently it's a very common thing to say, and it's... I didn't realize that. I thought it was my own opinion, was that if you're going to watch Doctor Who, you have to watch, like, don't make your judgment on the first couple episodes. Watch, like, the first 3 or 4 episodes, or watch Blink, and then go back and watch from the beginning. So, and apparently that's, like, a very common thing. Is like, everybody says that same thing. You either have to watch the first 3 or 4, or start with Blink. And it's like, wow. What a strange thing to have a lot of people say.
And I don't know if there's anything Christopher Eccleston wise, the Ninth Doctor. I don't know if there's anything where I would say this is the guy you should start with. If you weren't there when he was there, you should definitely check out other things and then come back to watch him.
Right. Oh, I didn't realize that he was the invisible guy in the Heroes TV show.
And he's Destro in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Now you're going to watch that going, oh my God, he is a time traveler.
Like Rory on your new DC show.
DC Legends of Tomorrow, where we started watching the first episode and I realized I had to start the podcast. So I stopped it. We've only watched 9 minutes of it. So it's another superhero show on TV, and I really like Arrow and I really like Flash, and it happens in the same universe. But I'm not sure about I don't know if I like Rory's character at all yet, because I don't know who he is in the comics. I know about him, but I've never seen him in the comics, and I'm not liking him on screen so far. So,
have you watched any of Supergirl yet? That's also in that same world.
I was not under the impression that shares the same world as Arrow and Flash.
The only reason I say that is because I didn't realize it, but I did see that there was like one episode that had all three of them in the same. I saw a picture on somewhere that had all three of them. Now, whether it was, hell, who knows? They might have been filming all in the same studio or something at the same time, but it was all three of their characters in the same thing.
We have a tough time watching that show because it's on CBS, and so we can't watch it on Hulu or anything. So that one's kind of getting left behind.
Everything that I just Googled says that it's not. There's no crossover, and it's not likely that they're going to be in the same universe. Mainly because they're on two completely separate networks, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I put Supergirl and Arrow, and there was like, that's probably the image that I had seen there. But I see like a
totally shocked.
Yeah, I see a bunch of little snippets of it like that, and
the problem with the Supergirl is it's not run by the same guy that runs the other two, and it's the other two that really draw me in, because it's like, hey, we know how to operate on TV, whereas Marvel knows how to operate on big screen. So let's just show how awesome we are. And then like Gotham is doing its thing, and I almost can't watch it anymore. And Supergirl, it's just the fact that we have a hard time. We don't watch CBS stuff because it's not available anywhere. So maybe when it pops up in Netflix, we'll watch the whole season one.
Right. And I watch it. I've been watching a lot of my shows on this Showbox app. Unless anybody watching this is with the FBI, then I've never heard of it. And I'm just saying this because I heard friends talking about it. Not really friends, really acquaintances. I don't even like these people, anyways. So, anyways, the thing that these people say about this app is that it's really cool, and that these shows come on days after they're on the air. Okay, yeah, I watched it on there. I don't think we have any FBI agents watching this. If so, hi, welcome to the show.
I was going to say that you overheard people talk about this app on the street while you were walking to work in Oklahoma.
Yes.
That's what it was. I'll go with that one.
Okay.
And if the FBI, CIA, NSA, and if any of them are watching, please watch multiple times, get our views way up there.
And buy some hats.
Oh, speaking of.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh.
Yeah, I heard about, I saw that on Facebook. Impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And it stretches, so it's not like super tight or anything. The old one that she made me that didn't say police box on the top had the same pattern and stuff.
But it was crocheted.
It was crocheted. This one's knit, so she knows how to knit now. That one, it's like there's a tightness around the part where I would cinch it down on my head. And
I told you I'd take it apart and knit it.
Okay, go ahead and knit it.
I've said that already to you.
Those look good. You did a good job on that. And you could probably pull those down a lot further because, bigger on the inside.
Well, I don't want to disappear into it, Bob.
So, today I learned how to knit cables.
Oh.
So the part that twists.
Nice.
Yeah. I got a knitter.
If only you had a knitter that sold stuff.
It's true.
Wow. Then you're still going through, now you don't have your physical store anymore. Do you have your online store still, though?
Yep, always have.
And I had that in my favorites on my last computer here. I don't know if, since that computer crapped out on me. And I cannot. What's the name of that again?
You can use madebytricia.com.
Made by TRICIA.
Yep. You done yet?
You should totally plug that on like every show. Like, look at this hat. You can get it here.
I posted a picture of it to my Facebook business page before it was done, and I had all kinds of people interested in it and were all excited to buy it when it was done. And then when I finished the hat, I posted it and the link to buy it, and absolutely nobody has even commented on that thread. And then I also had I also posted it on at least 4 different sites that you can sell stuff on without any interest whatsoever. And then I had a lady ask me about dog treats the other day, and she says she'll order some this weekend. And well, we'll see if that happens or not. But my last order was last March.
Wow.
So.
They're really nice hats. I'm seeing pictures of them right now.
Yep. And they're all sitting in a suitcase in our storage unit.
Which is downstairs.
The new hat that I've gotten is currently out in the car, I believe. But it's the Cthulhu one.
You showed us pictures last time, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Which is cool because, well, it's Cthulhu. I was pretty proud of myself. When I started working where I'm working, I said something about Cthulhu because you know how that comes up in conversation with just random people all the time.
Well, I know that I'm wandering around going, God, I really hope the elder gods don't come here, or the great old ones. And somebody will went around, what?
Well, both the people I work with, I only work with 2 people, and they were both like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, from H.P. Lovecraft, and I like kind of describe them, and like the whole time they're like, not only did they have that look on their face like they were totally lost, but like they were a little afraid of me. Well, I find it cool now that that not only do they recognize this, but I don't remember what it was. Last week they asked me if I had a bell for my motorcycle, and I said I don't. Well, you're not supposed to buy your own bell. That's supposed to be something that's given to you. And the one guy says, maybe we can find him a bell with Cthulhu on it. And I'm thinking, that's pretty cool that these guys are like, now Cthulhu has become part of their vocabulary, and they're using that as a
associated with Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to reiterate to you, because I know I've told you about this in the past, and you can tell them, there is a podcast that goes over every single H.P. Lovecraft story, H.P. Podcraft. And it's two guys. They're humorous about it. You don't have to read the story to understand what's going on, but reading the story gives you like more in depth of what goes on. But I mean, you don't have to read anything. They'll reiterate everything for you, and it's all of they stopped being free, but I think you can still go back and listen to all the free stuff. They release a free one every month. They have a subscription thing going on, and they ran through all the H.P. Lovecraft ones, and now they're doing other authors. But it's just not. I don't want to pay for it.
Right. That's pretty cool. The H.P. Lovecraft literary podcast is the one that I was listening to for a while, which I was really impressed with.
That's Chris Lackey and Chad Pfeiffer.
Yes.
That's
Chris Lackey is the one who's also in the Cthulhu and Friends, I believe.
Okay, and that's the H.P. Podcraft. Maybe that's just their website.
Cthulhu and Friends is where they're actually playing the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game.
Sorry, I thought there was a Cthulhu con, and I'm verifying that right now.
So we're talking about the same podcast, Bob. So we can you can go ahead and recommend that, because Chris Lackey and Chad Pfeiffer are I consider the top of the top. But before I forget, you know Arkham Horror?
Yes.
Okay. You know how tedious it is to set things up?
Uh-huh.
There is an app that I have downloaded, and I'm positive that Android's going to have it too, that you can download. It's the Arkham Horror Toolkit, and it saves you from having to unload like most of the cards and any of the investigator trackers, things like that. It cleans up a lot of what you have, and then you just operate it through the app, and it actually has expansions for all the other stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
The H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival and Cthulhu Con, Portland, Oregon.
That's pretty cool.
But the last time it gives dates was October of 2015. So it looks like there's also one in Los Angeles. Oh, here we go. It'll be October 7th through the 9th, 2016 at the Hollywood Theater, which we know where that is.
That's of the theaters in town, I would say that's the most awesome one, because it's like old style.
It's 100 years old. Yeah, it's
very
historic.
Very elaborate, and yeah. They had when Leonard Nimoy died, they had Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan on screen. Oh, wait.
Last year I had purchased this.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. There's a lot, like you were saying, there's a lot to set up, though. I don't know if we can get a shot of the back here. There's a lot to it.
Wow.
I'm positive that Elder Sign is in that toolkit. But there's also... Oh, go ahead.
This is one of the expansions. I just got that for Christmas.
Okay.
Where that one takes place in a museum. Here's where it spills out onto the streets. And there's one more expansion, I believe. So I got both those now. That makes me happy.
Well, the Arkham Horror, it's got all kinds of, like, the Arkham Horror board is gigantic, but there's expansions that are it's like it doubles the size of everything. And I'm looking at it thinking, whoa, but with this toolkit, I would totally play that, because it's got all the stuff for me. I don't have to unload most of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Here's another one I got for Christmas.
Munchkin Cthulhu.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys play any of the Munchkin games.
We used to, but we don't like the cheating component.
I think my brother or do we? Or do both of us?
I think both of us.
Okay, yeah, both me and my brother, or both us and my brother have different Munchkin expansions.
Cool. Yeah, it's a very, I tell people all the time, it's a very punny game. It's like the type of games that, I've got 3 different ones. I have the Cthulhu one now. I have the superhero one, and then I have the regular classic, like Dungeons and Dragons style one. Punny as far as things like the broadsword can only be used by the woman. And there's like very the one's called Unnatural Axe, and it's an axe that's just got like monsterish. So it's the whole thing is just bad puns, and then you're just trying to get to level 10. You can go online. You can get like the expansion rules to where you can go to level 20 instead of just level 10. And those expansion rules go for all the games. And they keep coming out with new ones, which isn't a bad thing. And
You know what we need?
yeah, I do. Another not my father's root beer because I don't have one. You have one.
You should get one, and I'll set up the Mad Libs.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So Isis is pretending to sleep in my lap, but really she's eyeing the yarn. Should have set up a camera just on my knitting. It could have been a YouTube tutorial that doesn't explain what I'm doing verbally.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I am back now.
We're going to start with the ladies. Ladies, adjective.
Fuzzily.
That doesn't need an ly.
Doesn't it?
No. So fuzzy would work if you want fuzzy.
I want fuzzy.
All right, fuzzy.
Fuzzy like a kitty.
Bob, adjective.
Adjective. Blue.
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 I have to do an adjective, and I want to do slimy. Trisha, plural noun.
Knitting needles.
Bob, a number.
8.
8. I need a noun, and I'm going to choose rash. Trisha, noun.
Yarn.
Bob,
Last time it was cooking because I was cooking.
Bob, plural noun.
Tentacles.
Okay. I need a noun, and I'm going to go with ball sweat.
Oh, he took mine.
Trisha, noun.
Kitty.
Kitty. Bob, adjective.
Hastily. That's.
I think that's the adverb one, isn't
I think
it?
that's that's the adverb.
The what?
So do you want hasty? That's easy.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hasty.
And then I've got to go with a noun, and I'm going to go with 7-layer burrito.
Wow. It's a hell of a noun.
Right? Adjective, Trisha?
Creamy.
Creamy.
I was thinking about donuts. Then I was thinking about frosting. Then I came up with creamy.
Bob, another adjective.
Just for the record, I don't like adjectives. I will go with.
Wait, you know what? Because the next one's a noun. I will take this adjective, and I'm going to use green, and then you can have the noun. How about that?
Okay, we'll do that.
Noun.
Milwaukee.
We have one of those here.
Yeah, we do. Trisha, adjective. What do you want me to take it?
Hairy.
Hairy. And then Bob, you get the last one, which is a noun.
Noun. Let's go with fire.
Fire. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Bowling. Bowling is a game in which a fuzzy ball is rolled along a blue lane in an attempt to knock over slimy wooden knitting needles. If you knock over all 8 pins with your first rash, you have made a yarn. If it takes 2 balls to knock down all the tentacles, you've scored a ball sweat. If you ever bowl 300, which is the perfect kitty, you can expect to be interviewed by hasty sports writers and have your 7-layer burrito in the creamy newspaper. Bowling is green, fun for every member of your Milwaukee, and it is also hairy exercise for developing your fire.
Wow. And there's times when we do this, and almost every single thing is like, wow, that sounds like it all makes sense. Like we could have read the story and just inserted these words, and it would have made sense. There's other times where it's like, wait, that's not right.
Yes.
There's a couple of those that fell in there.
So I've got a new obsession. It is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Oh, much better for you, right?
It's kind of like a collectible card game, but it's not cards. It's electronic, and you get to collect characters and do fights and stuff like that.
I may have that. It's also a possibility that I haven't played it in a while.
If you are on Galaxy of Heroes, you should become my ally.
It would have been months, if not longer, since I've played that. I have it on I had it on 2 different devices. Possibly my Nook being one of them. I'm trying very carefully not to bump the table because you would actually see me cry quite a bit if I spilled Notch Father's root beer on my computer, because that would be ruining 2 things at once. And
it's true.
I do not want that to happen.
No.
The last time I had a laptop computer, water got spilt onto it. And yeah, that's where that went away. It is no longer part of my Nook, and I know it was on my Nook, and it's no longer there.
No, thanks for your help, Kenny.
That might have been the one where I liked it, and I was playing it constantly, nonstop, and then I got bored with it and deleted it from everything. That happens occasionally.
Which is weird. Yeah, I'm still. I hit the area where progress is slow, but I'm still pushing because I think that I haven't hit the part where I don't think a free account, like where I'm not buying anything, is a hindrance yet. I mean, it is a hindrance, but it's not like I need to buy something in order to get anywhere, so I'm going to stop playing. I haven't hit that yet.
Right.
Ooh, we get closer.
I have a new game. It's called it's that little kitty in the bottom there. It's called Nico Itsumi.
Huh.
And it's a very, very simple game that doesn't have much of a point to it. You have a yard and you put food and toys in it, and then you wait for cats to visit you.
Wow.
And the point of the game is to collect the different cats. Like there's all kinds of different cats. So here's a screenshot that I took of 3 cats in my backyard one time.
Huh.
And so I was told about it at that con that I was at the other weekend. And because everybody said that my cat Doctor Who shirt looked like that game, and I'd never heard of that game. And then, of course, I had to get the game. And
Yeah.
we have a real life version of that game down the street from us, because there is a house where they feed all the stray cats, and there's about 20 of them between the strays and the cats that they actually own. And sometimes when I walk by, I bring them extra cat food because I want to pet them. And really, there's only one cat that usually lets me pet him, and his name is Bear. And he's this big fluffy guy, and he doesn't have a tail. Like that's his breed. It's just this cute little nub of a tail. But he also looks like a Wookiee. And let's see. So I forgot that my pictures move. So I was over there the other day, and I think he's getting mad at me because I used to just play with him. Like, he was the only cat that let me pet him. And then everyone else is like, hey, she has food. And so now I keep collecting more. So there's 4 of them in that picture, and there's Bear ignoring us up in the top.
Wow.
And yeah, so when I go over there now, it's my goal to collect the cats. So there's I love the way the pictures move.
Now I realize why I want that phone.
I have the Harry Potter iPhone. So when you move the picture, or when you take the picture, it moves a little bit. You see their tails, and it takes a couple of frames of a photo before you actually snap the photo, and then when you scroll through them, they move.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, so I want to say, well, and today a 5th. Ooh. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's even better than what I know how to do.
So because of the new iPhone, here's how to get it to move without swishing. So you do the force touch.
Huh.
So yeah.
I want to see another.
I don't have that phone, but now I want it. I mean, I was okay with not having it until I remembered that that's why I wanted that phone specifically.
And which one is that? Which phone?
It's that one's the iPhone 6S Plus. 6 Plus S?
6S Plus.
So it's the big iPhone screen. It's the 6S, and it takes a few frames before your picture, and then a few frames after, and gives you some motion. So if you hold your finger on it, it'll do the movement.
Well, the chicken and potatoes didn't move.
That's pretty cool.
That's square though.
Their next version is actually going to capture the object inside the picture.
With any luck, I'm looking forward to the time when we're actually capturing the people's souls that were worried we were taking their souls. So.
Yeah, I had I took a video of the kitty. So I had the iPhone 6, and DJ had the 6 Plus, and the battery on the 6 was awful. I would recharge it 3 times in a day.
Wow.
And, yeah, so I hated it. And I always had an external battery or 2 with me, and I just dealt with it. Well, then, while my parents were here right over Christmas, Apple sent out an email that said, trade your old phone in for up to $350. And, an iPhone is never going to be worth that much after it's a couple years old like that. So I went down to the Apple store with my iPhone 6, and I got $300 for it towards a new phone, so it was
Nice.
well worth it.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how many places nowadays are saying, like every place that I've worked in the last 10 years or so, says no cell phones out here. They've got computers out on the floor in some of the places, but you're not supposed to have your phone, or just the idea of, and some of it I understand. Like, I heard today that there's truck drivers and stuff that get paid, that if they get caught with their cell phones in their hands, there's like $2,500 fine just for having it in your hand. Which, I mean, I understand why they have it, because of things like, hey, texting is dangerous, to drive while text. It's not about texting though that's dangerous. It's about not paying attention to the road that's dangerous.
Just
And
the distraction in general, yeah.
right. I don't see how, if you've got somebody sitting next to you and you can talk to that person sitting next to you, and that's not distracting, why is it more distracting to be talking to somebody through a telephone? I don't understand that. It's like, if you were literally sitting next to me, we could have the same conversation and that would be okay. But because I'm talking through a device, that's a distraction. Well, still, you got to pay attention. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to what you're doing. But they can't make that a law. They can't say it is now against the law to not pay attention, but they can make things, I don't know. So you could still eat a cheeseburger with one hand, steer with your knee, and play with the radio with the other hand. That's still okay because they didn't make that illegal yet.
I shit you not when I say this. I went to a tech support job one morning. It was snowy. The roads were a little bit slick. The person I was behind was holding a newspaper, smoking, on a cell phone, had a cup of coffee, and I'm pretty sure she was driving with her knees.
Yeah, I'll play Pokemon and read. I do all that shit.
And she was eating. Sorry about that. All at once. No, not like this was all happening at the exact same time. Like, I saw this and I'm like, I think I'm going to pull over for a little bit.
Did you see tentacles? Because if there was tentacles, then there is a possibility of 8 arms. I don't know if.
No tentacles.
Okay, yeah, so probably not that. Okay, right. Yeah, and that's the thing, though. It's like, are they going to end up, if they, let's say they made it illegal to eat while driving? Well, what about a cigarette? What about, getting a drink of your water while driving? Imagine if they tried to do that. It's like, why are they not trying to make all these things illegal? Because you can't. To say, well, you need to be, you're not allowed to touch your radio while you're driving. It's now against the law. They can't do that. I mean, I guess technically they could, but then what would be the next thing? You're not allowed to scratch your nose while driving? I mean, it's like, what we need is less laws and less stupidity, not more laws and more ways to get around them. I don't know. I got a bit of a, that's kind of one of my sore spots. I get annoyed by this quite a bit.
Well, and yet you'll see a cop drive down the road and he'll have a laptop open beside him and he'll be on a phone and, there'll be the police radio and everything.
And they are actually exempt from those laws. They are allowed to be on those.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And, so I guess if you can train a cop to supposedly drive safe with distractions, then I would think that should just be something that you teach everyone how to do when they learn.
Right. You would think that if those things were distractions, there'd be cops hitting things all the time because they are on them all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. This past couple days, yesterday, maybe the day before, there was a police officer that hit a 67-year-old woman here in this town, next town over, something like that. She had her hood on, all the, a big old coat with the hood on, and she just walks up to the road and walks right into the road. She crosses the road to go get her mail, and a cop hit her. So, of course, people are losing their fucking minds. And it's the same old shit you hear all the time. You know, if a cop does something like this, why is this guy even allowed to keep his job? Well, let me ask you something. If this was somebody who worked, say, at Kmart and she was heading towards her job, and this old woman stepped into the street, and this would, you know, would they say, well, she should lose her job? Would they do
Right.
that? No, they wouldn't do that. But because this guy's a cop, they're saying, you know, this is crazy. This cop, he should know better. Well, you know, there was like a one teen girl who claimed that she was an eyewitness, saying that even though he said that I made an attempt to swerve and I couldn't get out of the way, she says, "Oh, he didn't swerve. He just hit her." Well, she stepped right out in front without looking. That's one of the things that was said. Um, at that very last second, you're like, shit, and you go to turn, your car might not even move at all. But yeah, he hit it, turned around, came back, called for the emergency vehicles and all, and it was too late. But I don't think that that had anything to do with any devices. That's just the fact that it sucks that it happened, but I think that was due to more the fact that somebody stepped out into the street without looking for cars. And
We have that here repeatedly. It's a huge problem in Portland because the driving laws are set up to basically state that the pedestrian can do whatever the hell they want and you have to watch for them.
And I understand that they had that in Japan too. You could raise your hand and walk into the street. That was the thing that you do. But it's the same thing like when you come up to a stop sign, and then there's another vehicle back there, and that vehicle might be going too fast. You know that vehicle's not going to be stopping, but I stop, so it's my right to go. Well, yeah, it's your right to go, but if you get killed, you know, it's like, yes, the pedestrian has the right of way, but if you step in front of a car, you might die. You know what? I'll let the car go. You have this, the roads are slick right now. So I make it a point when the roads are slick that if I'm at a stop sign and I see a car coming the other direction, I will wait at that stop sign, not until I've technically stopped my car all the way and now it's legal for me to go, which is the actual law. You stop and then you can go. But no, I'm going to make it a point to make it that vehicle isn't going to be sliding through the intersection and me having a douchebag attitude of, well, I stopped, so it's now my right to go. Sure, I could do that, but then I might get hit. So I'm going to do this the smart way, and I'm going to wait until I know for sure that the other vehicle is going to stop.
Yeah, that's definitely a North Dakota thing as well, if you're smart. That you, even if you were able to stop, you make sure everyone else is able to stop before you go.
Right.
What we, about a month ago, roughly, we had an epidemic of people walking in front of the TriMet, which is a train, basically. So you clearly know that it's gonna be on railroad tracks, right? So you know, if you see tracks, that's probably where the train is going to travel, and that maybe you should pay attention. Maybe not have your earbuds in and your hood up and be looking down while you walk across the tracks.
Wow.
So there were like three to five people that got either hit or killed within a few weeks.
It actually happens quite frequently here.
And it's almost always because the pedestrians are not paying attention. And it's the same for them walking out where cars would be. People, the law here is basically that every corner is an intersection. Now, granted, you know, a lot of them have the white stripes painted on them. They almost all have stoplights at them. I mean, so it's pretty standard to being a human being to know how to operate. But here, people run out in the middle of the block, in the dark, wearing black, at night, when the road is a 45-mile-an-hour street with, you know, 4 lanes plus a turn lane. and they just expect you to stop.
Wow.
And I know, like, you know, coming here, having not grown up here, I mean, we obviously have a sense of reality and know better than to run out in front of cars. But people
Right.
who've grown up here, if they move, they're dead. I mean, I talked to a lady back at our Ingress event back in June who grew up in Oregon, and I mean, she's got to be in her 60s. And she went to work in another state. And within the first week of being there, she got hit by a car and was put in a wheelchair for months because of all the broken bones. Because she's just like, well, but I can walk out in traffic in Portland.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's terrible. People should be aware of your surroundings. Yes, it might be a right to do it, but you know what? The law of tonnage is the most important law out there. The law might say that you have the right, but the law of tonnage says that whichever vehicle weighs more is going to win. So if you step out in front of a truck, the law of tonnage says you're fucked.
That's why I keep saying to people at work, they're like pushing carts full of their mail coming in and all that, and they'll be like, "Don't step in front of me." I'm like, "No, see, I'm smart enough to understand that the bigger truck always wins."
Yeah, exactly.
Funny and be like, think about it for a second. They're like, well, I suppose you're right.
Yeah. You've got like, person and then bicycle and then Volkswagen and then, like Cadillac, truck, train. I mean, there's different things where it's like you yield to the larger vehicle because it's a larger vehicle. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to fuck up both vehicles. If you have a truck and a larger truck, they're both going to get fucked up. But
but the larger truck will win.
The larger truck wins. It's the law of tonnage. Now, the idea of stepping out in front of people, I work in factories. I've worked in factories for a long time. The horn on the forklift. Anytime you come to an intersection, you're supposed to hit the horn on the thing just to keep people from walking out there. But again, you have to be, just because you hit that horn doesn't mean somebody's going to prevent somebody to step out in front of you, because they will. So many times I've hit the horn and somebody, like, hearing it will then turn and walk right in front of you like you're not even there. And I do believe that's because the background noise, if you use the horn too much, it becomes background noise.
That's what I was going to ask, is are these people just sort of immune to it from hearing it all the time?
Yeah, you hear it all the time. So you have people who drive through the building and they're like, and they hit it way too often. And I feel that that's a big mistake. And what I do is, like, I hit it when I come to intersections and stuff, but you also watch. You can't say, well, I hit my horn, so I'm going to go, but you hit your horn and now you still watch for people. That's me saying, I'm here, watch out for me, but you still have to watch. And what I'll do is, if I see somebody standing there, I'll be like, coming around you, don't back up. I'll literally speak to them, or I'll be like, hey, morning, guys. Because don't get me wrong. Somewhere I've got a list of people I want to run over with different sized vehicles, but I normally don't want to hurt people.
They just don't work with you? I mean,
yeah.
they're just not around when you're in a forklift?
Yeah, amazing.
Say that. There's a commercial where this guy is talking and he introduces the guy behind him as the IT guy. And then the IT guy says, I'm not the IT guy. I am the desktop operations support supervisor. And I told her the other day, every time I hear that guy, I want to punch him in the face with a shovel while he's on fire.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's just some people that exactly. There's some people that are just annoying to speak to, or even it's not that bad the first time, but after you hear it a few times, where it's like, I don't even want to go in there because just their voice is going to make me want to punch them, because you know that they're going to say something stupid, because just playing the odds, every day I go in there and 4 out of the 5 days they're saying something stupid. So I know if I go in there, chances are they're going to be saying something stupid. So
True.
And with our trains here, they also have horns on them. So when they come to intersections and when they come to even when they come to their scheduled stops, like the platforms that we wait at, there's a bell that sounds well before the train gets to the platform. And as they're pulling up, because there is somebody driving them, it's not like they're automated or something.
Right.
I mean, there's a person in the front cab, looking out the window, operating the thing. And they also have a horn that they use when they get to intersections and when they see things happen. And generally, because they go along the roads, they're almost always near car intersections. So I'm gonna look like Bob when he's done. So so you can oh God. You're putting my wig on backwards.
Wow. I was gonna say that wouldn't be nearly as effective on you. It's usually just like.
So anyways, if you're trying to get to the train at our house, even the do not walk sign will be up because there will be a train that's also crossing the track. I've learned how to annoy from the best. That'd be you.
Got a question for you, Bob.
What's
I
that?
want to get up all this morbid people walking out in front of stuff shit. All right. When you were in Okinawa, and I'm asking this not because we were at a weird time in our relationship at that point, but when you were in Okinawa, I wasn't there. This is the reason I'm asking. When you were in Okinawa, did you watch sumo tournaments?
Oh God.
I seen some sumo on TV, but I would never seen one in person.
Well, I never saw
one of them stepped out in front of a truck, though. Sorry, I just wanted to tie that together.
Right. Nice segue. So right now, actually in about 5 or 6 hours, the final day of the Hatsubasho is beginning. Sumo tournaments are 15 days long. It's every other month, so January, March, June, etc., or May, whatever, etc., all the way through the year. So every other month. January has a tournament, and like I said, tomorrow in about 6 hours is the final day of this tournament. And the first time I was in Okinawa, which you were not there, I doubt you were even in the Navy at that point. I couldn't leave the camp one day, and I had to go to that little recreational thing. You know what I'm talking about? It had the pool table in it and big TV. Okay, well, at that point, we only had one channel, A-Farts. And whatever was on was basically the only thing you could watch. So I couldn't leave camp, so I ended up going there because I couldn't go anywhere, and I ended up sitting there for about 4 or 5 hours with a couple other guys. And the sumo tournament was on. So we're all like, oh. Well, because we couldn't watch anything else, and there was somebody on the pool table, and we couldn't, play the pinball machines, whatever. So we're staring at the sumo. We figured out a lot of stuff because they were showing it to us live. The sumo was on live. So
Was it closed captioned?
No.
Oh gosh.
It was in Japanese too.
Okay.
You couldn't understand a goddamn thing.
That's why I was asking.
So we're watching, and we figured out that the colors mean stuff, and whether or not they're little stringy things hanging off of themselves, they mean stuff, and what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. And pretty soon, all 3 or 4 of us, we all got a really big appreciation for sumo. Well, I just found a YouTube channel where a guy posts just the results of the top division, because the top division is really the only one you want to watch, because the lower divisions, when somebody from them comes in, you can kind of tell. So, yeah, so I wanted to know because it's on, and I love me some sumo.
Sumo was the type of thing that I would watch it occasionally when it was on, but it was just that. It's like it would be on, and you don't really turn a channel because it's like there's nothing else on. And once it's on the TV, you're like, yeah, I don't care about this. I do not care about what's on the TV, but you can't help but look. You're like so intrigued by this that that you're going to turn and look at it, the idea of turning the TV off and not watching something just never crosses your mind. This is on TV, and regardless of what I'm doing, I'm going to, it's like the kid when he's eating. He'll be enthralled with the commercials that he's seen 100 times. It's like he can't stop looking at the TV, even though it's just a commercial. And sumo's like that.
You should get into sumo so that way I can have someone to talk to about it. Like it got down to you never take on the same guy twice. So you get 15 fights that you take, and there were 2 guys that were undefeated, and on day 11 they faced each other. So 2 undefeated sumo guys faced each other, and the lower ranked of the 2 beat the higher ranked, and that was like, wow. And then that guy lost the very next match. So there's no undefeated guys in this tournament anymore. But I mean, the fact that there were 3 or 4 of them up till like day 8 or 9, and then there was 2 of them for the one meeting between the 2 of them, and then that guy lost after the fact. So it was kind of neat.
Wow.
And I keep pointing out to her what she asked the question of, well, what happens if they fall off that big mound that they're wrestling on? I'm like, well, then the guys in the first, second, and third rows get a face full of butt crack. And since she's asked, and I haven't shown her the last couple of days, I mean, there's a lot of people falling off that mound lately. It's like, and the same side too. You'd think they would be all over the place, but no, it's like the falling away from the camera. There's one guy there. You can just see he's got a face full of butt cracks several times that day.
And I think it works kind of like a foul ball at the baseball game. If you catch the foul ball, you get to bring it home with you. Yeah, you can bring a sumo wrestler home with you if you happen to catch him if he falls off that mound. All right, I made that part up. Maybe not.
Yeah, you did. And plus, you do not want to take one of them home because you will go poor just feeding them.
Yeah. It's weird that they are like the not just celebrities, but they're like they're the gladiators. They're the they're the champion belts, man. They're like the top of the top. Everybody in Japan knows their names. Probably have posters of these guys on their walls. They're the celebrities.
The thing that they wrestle on is I have suspected for a really long time, but I actually got confirmation of it this last day that I watched. I was really sure it was just built up and really hardened dirt, like a dirt mound in this stadium. The reason I know for a fact now it is dirt is because 2 matches had guys hit a specific corner and hard, and the dirt actually started collapsing because they hit it just right to have the side start falling. Now they come and fix it afterwards, and I don't understand how they get it to be so solid, but I mean, they've been doing it for centuries, so they know what they're doing. And it was funny that I had that question, and all of a sudden 2 giant guys get thrown on the mound, and I get to learn the answer.
Yeah. So if somebody was to ask you, like, well, so what's this sumo about? Just say it's like King of the Mountain in diapers.
It's 2 large men pushing each other around, slapping each other in most cases, and hurling each other into the crowd.
King of the Mountain in diapers. Yeah, it's exactly what I just said. So, yeah.
When I was in Okinawa the first time, at that point you could only be of Japanese descent to be a sumo wrestler. You could only be Japanese. I don't know when the conversion started, but now there are Mongolians, there are Chinese, Hawaiians are allowed. There's a white dude doing it too, and he's terrible, but he's still doing it. And I know that the top knot is a requirement, so that if you start going bald, if you can't form a top knot anymore, you're retired. You're like forced in. Yes.
Wow.
I don't understand why that's so important, but whatever.
Cat.
But yeah, there's several Mongolians, Chinese.
I could see Hawaiians. There's some big Hawaiians that.
There's a famous Hawaiian sumo wrestler, and I want to make sure I got the name correct, because if it's the guy I'm thinking of, I've been a fan of his for a really long time.
And I'm not just talking about big. I'm talking like there's a specific shape to a sumo wrestler.
don't have much bacon left anymore.
Samoan. Oh, no, see, there's a guy named Musashi Maru. Guy was huge. They called him the Moose in America when he was on ESPN. Samoan. Yeah, he was a big time sumo. He's been retired for a long time now, but when he was in, you knew he wasn't losing unless something really bad happened, and he didn't lose very many.
Wow.
But yeah, Hawaiian. There's a Hawaiian. Musashi Maru was also the second foreign-born sumo yokozuna. It said on the Wikipedia page. So good stuff, sumo. Now, Bob.
Yes.
We are over an hour. Do we want to keep going, or do you want to do nighttime, not quite sleepy, not quite awake things?
I am going to have to kill this earlier than last time. Last time we went like a 2.5 hour sort of thing.
It had been a really long time, though, so we were justified. That's why I'm asking now.
I do need to take a shower yet. My wife is still not home. I'm actually getting a little worried. I've checked my phone a few times to see if I've gotten a message or something. But she's with a bunch of friends, so she should be fine. The screen just went kind of bluish.
Yeah,
So did you.
That's weird.
Our Apple TV stopped
Oh.
functioning, so the screen went blue. That's its default when it's not connected to anything. Here we go.
So yeah, I definitely I was kind of looking at the time there, and like I keep looking at the door, like was that a door I heard? So yeah.
Okay, so for the future, on the 30. So for you, it's 10:30, I believe, was when we start. 10:30 when we started tonight, right?
10:30, yes.
Okay, so for us it's 7:30. For you it's 10:30. That's when we'll start, because I think doing it at the 7 and 10, there's going to be bad nights where I'm just not going to be able to get out of work in time. But I think that I'm safe in saying that 7:30 will work.
Cool. That'll work. But yeah, if it's cool with you, I say we can go ahead and kill it off, and then I can go take a shower and
You can shit, shower, and shave, not all at the same time though.
Right. Yeah, because my hair is pretty bad.
Mine is too.
And when I go to work, I've been doing a thing where I've been, I goop it up and slick it back, and I even occasionally put it in a ponytail, like a high ponytail, so it's in the back of my head, not at the bottom, but like.
Don't do man bun.
Don't man bun on us, please. No man bun.
No man bun.
Oh, well, there's a reason why I do it the way that I do it, and that's because the hat that I wear is getting loose, because it's gotten kind of like, it's getting old. It's probably a good 15 years old. So I'll occasionally have my ponytail like low like this. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
And other times I'll wear it up here, and that's only so I can put my hat over it and tighten my hat up.
You need a new hat, Bob.
Yeah. Well, this particular hat that I got, it's my driving hat, that black one that's, looks like old man hat. And I just had it for a lot of years. In fact, I started a job, 6 months ago, and I was there for 2 years. So probably almost 2.5 to 3 years ago, I started this job, and there was a guy who was working there, and I was like, oh my God, I used to work with him at a different time. And I was like, wow. I'm like, dude. And the cool thing was that I think it was like 10 years before that, there's a big old green spot on my hat because there was a paint that we used. It was in like a regular Pepsi bottle with a rag on top and a rubber band. It's full of paint. So you blob it onto it like a bingo blobber. And then once you cook these parts in the giant ovens, the green goes to white. That's how you knew that it was cooked, and not just because of that paint blob. So here I had this big green spot on my hat because when I was working there with this guy like 10, 12 years before that, we would just like throw this bottle to each other. We're like, hey, throw me the paint. Well, I missed. and it skimmed off my hat. So I thought it was cool. Be like, oh my gosh, hey, remember when we were working there? Remember that green bottle? Look. So yeah, I didn't even realize that hat was that old, except for once I tied it to the place that I was working when that green spot happened. And my wife hates it because it has that green spot on there. But I think that things like that, not show age, but show like there's stories behind things like that. So when you have a jacket that's got a tear here and a patch here and a stain here, yeah, it looks old and crappy after a while, but it also kind of has like
Character.
it's got the story that goes with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All he needs is to start rolling his pants and not wear socks with his shoes, and he'll be Portland hipster there with his ponytail and his riding hat and his beard, and
Wow.
you'll fit in here more than DJ.
because you got
Wow.
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beard is I don't do the beard because it's a new hip thing to do. I do the beard because I'm a hairy motherfucker. And this is just, I've always done this. It's all of a sudden become the thing, and I don't want to like shave it because now that everybody's doing it. Because I know people are like that. Like, yeah, I used to love Metallica, but now that everyone's listening to Metallica, I don't listen to them anymore. It's like, why would you not do something that you want to do just because now other people like to do it? That doesn't make sense to me. But people are like that.
You need to talk that sense into Bear, the cat, who ignores me now because all the other cats like me. See, even cats do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So next week, Bob, we will meet at the same bat time on the
Yep.
same bat channel.
We don't have
Excellent.
I mean, I doubt we have anything scheduled, but our calendars seem to be so full. Nope, nothing next Saturday.
All right.
I was wondering how that would look. Put my like a ponytail in the beard. Like the old dwarves did in some of those or the Vikings. You just
That looks Bob-diculous.
yeah, it does.
All right. All right, Bob.
Next, you need to slick down like the goop you put in your hair. You need to put it on the sides of your beard so that you can slick it all down into that ponytail.
Yeah, I do. Well, when I do it on my hair, I'll like get it all in my hair, and when it's basically done, then I'll start doing this just so. And then I don't know. Not everybody brushes their face. I totally brush my face unless I'm using a comb. But yeah, I get all this stuff like
Bob, you've got the facial hair for it. Do you know who Jim the Anvil Neidhart is?
Who?
Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
I don't know who that is.
Wrestler.
He's a pro wrestler, and you need to Google him. He is famous for having a very pointy beard, and I think that would totally, when you're ready to shave some of that off, you totally need to have that beard.
Cool. And a lot of people don't even have the underbeard thing happening. I totally have the underbeard. Like this, is all. A lot of people will shave their throats and stuff, and it's like, you know what, man? I ride my motorcycle, so, and I gotta go out. It's winter time right now. Why would I shave this? They're like, well, here, let me shave all this, then wear a scarf. And I'm thinking, I'm good.
Built-in scarf.
Right?
Yeah.
Scarf.
Yeah.
All righty. So
All right,
next
guys.
week, Bob, we will be on, and we will have this cat with us. And then Trisha's going to look a lot like this next time. Got to get that. There we go. There we go. Right
She
there.
got it all fixed again. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.